With rumors rising that Microsoft may reveal their next generation Xbox at E3 2019, here's why I think they should release it this fall. The next gen Xbox from Microsoft is rumored to make an appearance at E3 2019. Same industry whispers suggest that we should see two next gen Xbox consoles. One an entry-level, probably driveless version, codenamed Lockhart, and it's expected to be on par with the current Xbox One X. The second is a more powerful traditional console, currently codenamed Anaconda. All signs are pointing to an announcement this year, with the actual hardware not arriving until 2020, right alongside Sony's PS5. If we do in fact see Microsoft kick off the next gen with two consoles, here's a few reasons why they shouldn't wait and should just take the head start by launching in holiday 2019. Online services and a head start worked wonders for the Xbox 360. The Xbox One was an important and costly lesson for Microsoft. The console struggled early on, and its stumble out of the gate put into motion a generation where Sony and PlayStation pretty much ran away with it. The PS4 is dominated with a historic sell-through rate that will eventually place it over 100 million consoles sold when it's all said and done. Outside of the initial and disastrous messaging around the Xbox One and its focus on TV, always online, and forced bundling the Kinect, Microsoft missed a key ingredient that helped its previous cycle. The Xbox 360 achieved the level of success that it had, namely a one-year head start on store shelves before the competition. By arriving an entire year ahead of the PlayStation 3, this allowed Microsoft and the Xbox 360 to cement itself with an install base of 10 million units. This was pivotal for Microsoft as it catapulted the Xbox 360 to become the definitive place for multiplayer games on consoles at the time. While Sony was still trying to wrap its head around online gaming, Xbox Live became synonymous with the biggest titles in the world like Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, and more. And yes, Sony did have a much stronger first-party exclusive pedigree, but it wasn't even in the same conversation with the PlayStation Network as you know it today, being very much in its infancy. Xbox Live as a service was a true way for Microsoft to differentiate itself early on in the 360's life cycle. Fast forward to the present, and the company finds itself in somewhat of a similar situation as it's leveraging services. With the recent success of its Netflix for games, Xbox Game Pass service, and the upcoming xCloud, Xbox is transforming itself from a physical item that you buy to an activity that you do, accessible to anything with an internet connection. The company is so committed to this plan that we're even hearing rumors of Xbox Game Pass and xCloud making its way to competing hardware like the Nintendo Switch. Microsoft is once again going to rely on services to pave the way for its future. With this in mind, if the company is confident enough to announce new hardware, they should also be ready to deliver it sooner rather than later. They should capitalize on the one-year head start to get people invested into the ecosystem story that they are telling with Xbox. Bigger, louder, faster. Right now, next gen doesn't appear to have any hooks outside of horsepower. The Xbox One and PlayStation 4 use the inclusion of social media, streaming, and content creation as one of the hooks to or reasons to upgrade at the start of this current generation. Yes, consoles before dabbled with Facebook and Twitter, but it wasn't until the beginning of the current gen that players could share moments in real time, whether that was capturing gameplay footage or sharing screenshots instantly. Xbox One and PS4 ushered in a new era of creators by providing the means to curate, share, and broadcast content without the need of expensive equipment like a powerful PC, capture card, or even editing software. The idea of sharing epic moments and experience in games outside of the new games themselves was enough to make people run out and buy the new hardware. Some might think or hope that virtual reality will be the next big selling point for the generation to come, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but no, VR will not be the reason for early adopters to rush out and buy next-gen machines either. While the format might not be as gimmicky as 3D or motion controls, it is yet to make the mainstream splash everyone believed that it would by this time. And yes, Sony's PSVR made arguably the biggest impact through its accessible price point. Virtual and augmented reality is still something that needs to be physically experienced to be understood, and because of that barrier, the VR renaissance isn't in full swing just yet. Even the team at Xbox understood this, and they pumped the brakes on their own VR ambitions for the Xbox One. As Xbox continues to shift its focus to services, it's hard to see VR, if it does come to the platform, being much more than just a box to tick on the spec sheet rather than a primary selling feature. Without any clear hooks in the foreseeable future in sight, next gen is going to be all about horsepower, pushing games while driving more pixels on screen. If the Xbox One X is to be considered the floor for next gen, it seems that it would be a safe bet to assume that when the rumored Anaconda hardware does arrive, we can hopefully get closer in performance to high-end PC video cards from, let's say, 2017 and early 2018. But again, the biggest gains that will make you say, okay, this is a next generation video game, will probably stem from just an overall raw performance standpoint. And that's okay, especially if the extra resources go to things you can't actually see, like AI or physics enhancements, which can potentially make the overall experience and immersion in a game that much better. Microsoft successfully sold the Xbox One X based on theory, not games. When Project Scorpio eventually became the Xbox One X at E3 2017, Microsoft doubled down on its games play better on Xbox messaging. They didn't have any standout console exclusive titles to push that holiday. Instead, they talked up true 4K and performance updates to existing games, and they sold consumers on that idea. That idea that going forward, multi-plat games will perform their absolute best on Microsoft's machine. And so far, the company has managed, for the most part, to deliver on that promise. If rumored specs prove to be true, the beefier, more expensive Anaconda version of the next Xbox is, on paper at least, slated to have double the GPU horsepower of the current Xbox One X. While I personally doubt the Anaconda, or PS5 for that matter, will see any bleeding edge enhancements like Nvidia's ray tracing technology, if Microsoft is able to double the horsepower of a machine that already pumps out 4K visuals at fairly decent frame rates, that alone will be enough to sway many into upgrading. And finally, why should they wait until 2020 if there's no exclusive games to wait around for? From a first party and exclusive perspective, outside of Gears 5 coming this year, which is also coming to PC, like every other Xbox Game Studios release, there's really nothing worth hanging around and holding back next-gen hardware for. As Sony and the PS4 are looming almost menacingly over the industry, they have their clip fully loaded with PS4 exclusives to close out the current gen and maybe even merge into the next. Their upcoming absence from E3 2019 creates a great opportunity for Microsoft and Xbox to draw attention and focus to its shiny new hardware and bundle it with the services that will fuel it. With the Xbox platform being both backward and forward compatible, there's really no reason to hold back any new hardware, especially when taking into consideration that once xCloud launches, following this year's public trials, it becomes super important to get people invested in the Xbox ecosystem, and a physical, substantial hardware purchase will help drive exactly that.